It's funny how life can change in a single moment. How one action, one sentence can flip everything you thought you knew upside down. I always thought I understood the dynamics of my marriage. I believed in us. I believed in the life we'd built together. But then that moment came, the one I never saw coming. It all started a few weeks ago when Nathan, my husband of 10 years, suggested we take a break from the city. We've been under a lot of stress lately. Work, family, the general grind of life. I hadn't realized how much pressure had been building up between us until he mentioned the idea of getting away. He'd rented a beach house, he said, a quiet, secluded place for us to reconnect. It seemed like a perfect idea, a chance to clear our heads and remember why we fell in love in the first place. I agreed instantly. It sounded like just what we needed, especially after a year of constant tension. He promised me it would be a fresh start. "Let's make this weekend about us," he said, and I wanted to believe him. So, I packed my bags, left behind the usual distractions, and drove up the coast with him, ready to enjoy the peaceful getaway we talked about. The drive there was smooth, quiet, just the two of us, exchanging soft conversation and passing the time. It felt like a relief. For the first time in months, there was no pressure, no deadlines, no expectations. Just us on the road, heading to what I hoped would be a perfect weekend. When we arrived, the house was everything we had imagined. A cozy little cottage overlooking the beach, isolated from the world. The sound of the ocean waves crashing against the shore was all we could hear. The perfect escape from everything that had been weighing us down. We unpacked and spent the afternoon on the beach, walking along the shoreline, collecting seashells, reminiscing about past trips. It felt easy again, like it used to. Nathan was relaxed, laughing, holding my hand. For a moment, I felt like we had turned a corner, like this trip was going to be the catalyst for fixing everything. But then, as night fell, everything shifted. We decided to have dinner in the house. Nathan cooked, and we enjoyed a quiet meal sitting across from each other at the small dining table. It was a peaceful evening, and we spent it just talking, like we used to before life got so complicated. Afterward, we settled in front of the fireplace, sipping wine, wrapped in blankets, and the weight of the world seemed to fade. I thought we were finally reconnecting. Around midnight, Nathan said he needed to step outside for a moment. "I'll be right back," he said, giving me a reassuring smile as he grabbed his jacket and walked out onto the deck. I was comfortable where I was, so I stayed inside, enjoying the quiet solitude of the house. I kept the fire going and scrolled through my phone, checking work emails, trying to keep my mind occupied. But something kept nagging at me, a feeling I couldn't quite place. I heard a sound outside, soft voices, the sound of muffled laughter. At first, I thought it was just the wind, or maybe the waves crashing against the shore, but then I heard it again more clearly this time. Nathan's voice, low and familiar. But there was someone else with him, someone I didn't recognize. My heart skipped a beat. I wasn't sure why, but I felt the sudden urge to go check. I got up from my seat and walked over to the window, trying to peer outside without making any noise. I couldn't see clearly, but I could make out two figures on the deck, standing close to each other. I tried to brush it off. Maybe he was just talking to someone. Maybe it was nothing. But then I saw it. Nathan was standing there, holding something in his hand. I couldn't tell what it was at first, but as they moved closer to the light, it became clear. He was holding a small velvet box, and the woman with him, someone I didn't recognize, was looking at him with a mix of admiration and anticipation. He kneeled down in front of her, his back to the window. My heart dropped into my stomach, and then, with a sickening realization, I understood exactly what was happening. The woman's hand rested on his shoulder as she smiled at him, and in that moment I knew. He was proposing. He was giving her an engagement ring. I felt paralyzed. For a long moment, I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. It was as if everything had gone quiet in the world around me. My mind was spinning, trying to piece together what I was seeing, trying to make sense of the reality I was now facing. How could this be happening? How could my husband be on his knees, giving another woman an engagement ring while I was sitting just inside the house, unaware? The worst part was that I couldn't tear my eyes away. I wanted to run out there, to confront them, to demand answers, but I couldn't move. I was frozen in place, my body shaking with a combination of shock and anger. I watched as he placed the ring on her finger, and her face lit up with the kind of joy I had once seen in my own eyes when I had first met him. And then, with my heart shattering into pieces, I saw them kiss. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't know what to do, but I couldn't just stand there and watch. I ran to the door and opened it quickly, trying to force my legs to move. I wasn't thinking, wasn't planning. I just had to do something. When I stepped onto the deck, the sound of the door slamming behind me startled them both. Nathan quickly pulled away from the woman, his eyes wide in shock. The woman turned to face me, her face a mix of confusion and something else, something I couldn't quite place. I felt like I was suffocating. My chest was tight, and I couldn't get the words out. Nathan stood there, speechless, and I could see the panic in his eyes as he glanced between me and the woman. "What is this, Nathan?" I managed to say, my voice trembling with anger. "Who is she? What are you doing?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. The woman, still standing next to him, looked back at me, then down at the ground, clearly uncomfortable. This isn't what you think," Nathan said finally, his voice strained, but I could hear the guilt in it. "Sarah, I never meant for you to find out like this. It's not what you think. Not what I think," I repeated, my voice rising. "You're giving her an engagement ring, Nathan. You've been lying to me for how long? Who is she? Who are you?" The woman, looking both embarrassed and regretful, spoke up. "I'm sorry," she said softly, her voice hesitant. "I didn't mean to intrude. I didn't know." But I couldn't listen to her. I couldn't hear anything except the devastation in my own chest. "Who is she, Nathan?" I repeated, my voice breaking. "What is going on here? What have you been hiding from me? Why did you think you could keep something like this from me?" Nathan looked down, his shoulders sagging with the weight of my words. He was defeated, cornered, and I could see the truth in his eyes now. There was no denying it. "I don't know how to explain this," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Sarah, I never meant for it to happen like this. I've been trying to figure things out for a while, but I didn't know how to tell you. She's someone I've known for a long time. We've had a connection for a while now. And you didn't think to tell me?" I asked, my voice shaking with disbelief. "You didn't think I deserved to know?" "I was wrong," he said, his voice thick with regret. "I never wanted to hurt you. I love you, Sarah. I do. But I've been living a lie, and I've hurt you in the process. I'm sorry." But those words felt empty. How could they not? He had been lying to me, sneaking around behind my back, and now he was standing there, offering me apologies. He didn't get it. He didn't understand that this wasn't just about love or affection. This was about betrayal. This was about everything I had believed in being turned upside down. The woman beside him took a step forward, her eyes full of sympathy. "I didn't know about you," she said softly. "I didn't know you were married. I'm so sorry for what this has caused." "I don't need your apologies," I snapped, my anger flaring. I turned to Nathan. "And as for you, I don't know what I expected, but this isn't it. How long has this been going on, Nathan? How long have you been lying to me?" His eyes were full of guilt, and for a moment I thought I saw regret. But I wasn't sure it mattered anymore. "I never wanted to hurt you, Sarah," he repeated. "I never wanted this to happen. But it had happened, and I had to figure out what to do next. I didn't know if I could ever forgive him. I didn't know if I could even look at him the same way again." And the woman standing beside him, she had just become a symbol of everything that was broken between us. I turned away from both of them, my head spinning. I couldn't look at them anymore. I couldn't even look at my own life without questioning everything I thought was real. "I need to leave," I said, my voice trembling with the weight of it all. "I need to figure out what comes next. But I can't stay here. Not with you. Not with any of this." Nathan didn't stop me. He didn't chase after me. He stood there, silent, as I walked away, feeling like the world I knew was slipping through my fingers. Everything had changed, and I didn't know how to go back. And in that moment, standing on the beach in the early morning light, I realized I had no idea what would happen next. The days that followed felt like a blur, like I was living in a fog. I stayed at a hotel near the beach, trying to clear my head and piece together everything I had learned. The weight of the situation was suffocating. I barely slept, my thoughts racing, my heart aching. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the image of Nathan with her, standing there in front of me, his hands on her, the engagement ring. Everything felt like a betrayal in the most raw, undeniable way. I didn't know what to do with all of this. I didn't know how to move forward. The man I had trusted, the man I had built a life with, had been living a double life behind my back. And now I was left holding the pieces of my broken heart, unsure of what came next. The hardest part was the silence. Nathan's calls kept coming, his messages filled with apologies, his voice pleading for forgiveness. I couldn't bring myself to respond. I couldn't bring myself to hear his voice again, not when it felt like he had shattered everything we had worked for. I couldn't even look at the phone without feeling the weight of the lies he had been telling me. I spent the next few days in a daze, trying to make sense of it all. I reached out to my sister, Lucy, who had always been there for me through thick and thin. She immediately offered her support, but there was no comforting way to explain what had happened. How could I make her understand the pain I was feeling? How could I explain how deeply this had hurt me when the man I loved, the man I had trusted with everything, had kept secrets from me for so long? I went to see her one evening, hoping that being around family would help me process everything. But as soon as I arrived, the floodgates opened. I sat on her couch, the tears coming in waves as I told her everything about the emails, the trips, the secret life Nathan had been leading. She didn't judge me. She didn't try to offer quick solutions. She just listened, and somehow, that was the most comforting thing she could have done. "You don't deserve this, Sarah," she said softly, holding my hand as I wiped my tears away. "You don't deserve to be treated like this. You deserve someone who sees you, who values you, who puts you first." Her words sank in, but they felt like a distant truth. As much as I wanted to believe them, I wasn't sure I could ever fully accept it. I loved Nathan. I had spent so much of my life with him, building a future together. But now, it felt like the future we had planned was nothing but a mirage, a fantasy I had been living in. Lucy stayed with me for the next few days, keeping me company, trying to distract me with anything she could think of. She even convinced me to go for a walk on the beach, something I hadn't been able to do without feeling the weight of everything crashing down on me. But walking by the ocean, with the waves crashing against the shore, helped clear my mind, if only for a few moments. By the end of the week, I knew I couldn't avoid Nathan forever. I couldn't keep living in this limbo, avoiding the one person who had once been my everything. I had to face him, but I didn't know what I was walking into. I didn't know if I was ready to hear the truth, or if the truth would destroy me even more. We agreed to meet at the same beach house, a neutral space, somewhere we could talk without distractions. I walked in, my heart pounding in my chest, and found him sitting by the window, his face tired, eyes filled with regret. He didn't look the way I remembered him. The man I had loved seemed to be gone, replaced by someone else, someone who had betrayed me in the most painful way possible. I stood there, trying to hold it together. I don't even know what to say to you anymore, Nathan, I said, my voice breaking. How do I even begin to process everything? How do I make sense of this? I don't even know who you are anymore. He stood up slowly, his eyes never leaving mine. I'm sorry, he said, his voice hoarse. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but please, just let me explain. Let me tell you what happened. Please. You don't get it, do you? I replied, shaking my head. This isn't just about explaining yourself. This is about trust. You've broken it, Nathan. You've lied to me for months, and now I'm left trying to figure out how to rebuild from nothing. I never meant for it to happen this way, he said, his voice cracking. I didn't want to hurt you. I've always loved you, Sarah, but I've made the biggest mistake of my life, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if I can. His words sounded hollow to me. The man I had trusted, the man who had promised me everything, was now pleading with me, and yet I couldn't shake the feeling that nothing he said would ever be enough. The truth had already been laid bare, and nothing could take away the hurt, the betrayal, the loss of trust. I don't know if I can forgive you, I whispered, my heart aching as the tears began to spill again. I don't know if I can even look at you the same way. How could I? How could I believe anything you say when you've kept this from me for so long? I know, he said, his voice full of guilt. I know I've messed up. I know I've hurt you more than I can even explain. But please, I'm begging you, don't give up on us. Don't give up on me. I shook my head slowly, my chest tight with pain. You don't understand, Nathan. This isn't about just saying sorry and hoping everything will go back to normal. This is about something I can't fix. You've broken something inside me, and I don't know if I can get past it. He reached for me, but I stepped back, pulling away from him. Don't touch me, I said quietly, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. I can't look at you right now. I don't know if I ever will. Again, Nathan stood there, looking at me with a mixture of helplessness and regret, but there was nothing he could say to fix this, nothing he could do to undo the damage he had caused. I need space, I said, my voice breaking. I need to figure out what's best for me. I don't know if I can ever go back to you, Nathan. I don't know if I can live with what you've done. He nodded, his face filled with sadness. I understand, he whispered, tears brimming in his eyes. I don't deserve anything from you, but I'll wait. I'll wait for as long as it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I can change. I didn't respond. I just turned and walked out of the room, not knowing where I was going or what I was supposed to do. I had never felt so lost, so broken. I had spent so many years with him, building a life together, and now I had nothing but questions and heartbreak. The next few days were a blur. I didn't know where I was supposed to go, what I was supposed to do. I wasn't ready to go back to my old life. I wasn't ready to confront the people who would ask about Nathan. I wasn't ready to answer any questions, least of all the ones in my own mind. What did I want? Could I forgive him? Could I ever trust him again? And if I couldn't, what did that mean for us? I didn't know the answers. I didn't know where this journey would take me. All I knew was that I couldn't keep pretending. I couldn't keep living a life built on lies. And as much as it hurt, I had to find a way forward without him. Whether that meant walking away from the man I loved, or finding a way to rebuild from the wreckage he left behind, I couldn't stay in the darkness any longer. I needed to find myself again, and that meant finding the strength to move on.